It is day 22 and I am super excited. I'm super pumped because this is the start of a new chapter for me in this Juice Feast journey that I was not expecting. If you've been following along on this journey, you know that I absolutely love the spontaneity. And this Juice Feast is serving spontaneity, okay? So, if you did comment below in the last video to guess what would be happening today, because I could not find any more watermelon, the season is over. So, if you guessed orange juice, you are absolutely correct. I am now moving forward with orange juice. Now, I don't know how long this is gonna last, right? Because I'm still all about the budget, keeping budget in mind. And y'all know I was getting like 2.5 gallons of juice per watermelon. I was paying $15 watermelon and I was getting 2.5 gallons of juice. Now, this 24-ounce container has 9 oranges in it. And the box that I purchased wholesale, which is a huge tip for if you are starting a juice journey, buying wholesale is your best bet if it's not a watermelon. Even if it's watermelon, if you can get a pallet of watermelon, you should go ahead and get that pallet of watermelon, okay? So the box of oranges has 80 oranges in it. It took 10 oranges to get this 24-ounce jar. So I'm thinking that the oranges are not gonna be as cost effective. So I did the math and 80 oranges is going to get me about 1.5 gallons of juice. So 80 oranges is that sounds crazy. So I don't know, y'all. I don't know how long this I'll be on orange juice. Maybe I'll explore some other things. I also consider cucumbers. But I wanted to stay in season. I wanted to pick a fruit that is currently in season because just in general, eating fruit that's in season is always going to be giving. It's always going to be giving what it's supposed to be giving. The highest quality of nutrients. It's going to be ripe. It's going to be sweet. It's going to be giving. Okay? So it's best to always have fruit that is in season. Seasonal foods in general. Well, mostly in concerning produce, because if you're buying something in a pack, it's not seasonal, it's processed. So concerning your produce, you always want to shop and buy in season, and locally grown is always best. But the closest I can get right now is Florida, but citrus is still citrus season, so I felt like that was the best option for me in a pinch. Before I take my first sip, I just ran back into the kitchen to strain this again because I normally always double strain my juices before I consume them, and I did not do that this time because I want to make sure that I get as much as that insoluble fiber, like the actual pulp that you can actually see and like feel. There's still soluble fiber in juice, so you will continue to have bowel movements. I have been continuously having bowel movements through this very small but bowel movements through this whole 22-day feast so far. Especially did yesterday after I had that grape juice, because that grape juice had more insoluble fiber in it, like actual like pulp and stuff, than anything I've put into my system in the last 20 days with the watermelon juice and the 1 day of cucumber juice. So I wanted to just double strain this just to make sure that I got most of the insoluble fiber out, and I really want this to just be as much fruit juice as possible. So, day 22. Let's see what it do. Wow. Wow. Woo! I'm having an experience right now. Wow. It is like my taste buds. There's so many things. There's so many things happening right now because like Mind you, guys, I have been drinking nothing but watermelon juice for 20 days straight, and I switched it up a little bit last night, but like, this is so, it's like, the citrus is giving citrusy, like it's giving something citrus. My taste buds are just doing all kind of different things right now. Like, it's real watery. Right now, it's really good. It's certainly not as sweet, of course, as the watermelon juice, which is fine. It's giving a little, it's giving like that sweet and sour vibe that citrus gives. These aren't like super sweet oranges. But I did really like them because they looked very good, like perfectly ripe. There was no green, you know, still on the oranges. It looked like a really good batch of oranges. They were fragrant. So this is exciting. I'm really curious to see if I'm going to be able to consume a gallon, because immediately as I'm drinking it, it feels really smooth. But as it's hitting my stomach, it feels heavier than the watermelon juice. So we'll see if I'm able to even consume a gallon of this. All right, so I'm back with juice 2 of day 22. And so far I got a couple of things. As I was drinking the first one of these, I felt like the taste was just kind of getting more bitter and more bitter. And I was like, I don't know. Like, my watermelon juice was giving sweetness, giving all the things, right? But now this has a different taste profile, and it just seems, compared to watermelon juice, which is super sweet and it's like super citrusy, it's very bitter. So as I'm thinking this through, I think that it is bitter because I left too much of the white part on the orange. So when I juice my next gallon, by that point, I think I'm gonna get like a juice press, like a fruit press, because peeling all them oranges was not the vibe. It wasn't the move. It wasn't the move. You know, I did what I had to do with what I had. I utilized what I had and made it work. Probably peeled about 40 oranges today. So like half of that box of oranges I peeled today, which took extremely long, and I don't got time for that every time. I didn't like how it came out in my juicer. Like, there was so much pulp that I kind of had to like sift and strain, and I had to like double strain, which I always do. And I actually always triple strain, because when I put it in the big one, then I strain it again when I go to put it in a smaller one to drink. So this one actually was triple strained, but I just feel like that's a lot. And especially because oranges yield less juice than those big watermelons, I don't got time for that. I think I'm gonna try two things. The first thing I'm gonna try is peeling more of the white part off of the orange, because that part is actually the bitter part. It would have been even more bitter if I would have left the whole skin on, which I wasn't gonna do that. I think by removing some more of the white part, so I'm only really getting like the flesh, the orange part of the orange that I'm blending, I think that might help cut the bitterness, and I can just really taste the fruit at that point. So I'm gonna try that. And then I'm also gonna try the juice press. So that way I don't even have to peel anything. I just cut that bad boy in half, put it in the press it down, and I'm good to go. So I'm gonna see if that affects the taste in any way, to see if oranges are something that I wanna continue along in this journey with, because right now, after that first one, so let's see. I mean, this one still had a lot of the white part on the orange, but let's see. It's not as bitter. I think too, I'm still really just getting accustomed to the taste change, because watermelon are so sweet. They're so sweet, that, and this is so different. I mean, even when I did the cucumber juice for that day and a half, that was really earthy. Three very different. Like, the watermelon was super sweet, the cucumber was very earthy but refreshing, and this is still refreshing, but it's just like, You know what? When I switched it around a little bit, that helped. I don't know. I guess I just get more of the flavor when I do that. But it also makes me think too, like when we drink orange juice from like the containers, like the processed orange juice, there's so much added sugar in that stuff that I feel like we get accustomed to that, right? So when we drink just regular juiced oranges, I think psychologically my mind is like, it should be sweet, it should be a certain way, and I'm not getting that. So I think just psychologically it's like an adjustment to what oranges, freshly squeezed seeded oranges, actually taste like without all of the additives and preservatives and colorings and added like calciums, like artificial calciums and all of those like added minerals that they put in there. Just an interesting observation that I wanted to share with y'all. If I do a juice 3, I might hop back on if anything else comes to mind, but if not, I will see y'all in the next video.